She's not coming back. And deep down, you know that. But for some reason, you still check your phone every few minutes, hoping to see her name light up your screen. You're replaying those memories you had together of the late-night conversations, the way she laughed at your jokes, the mornings when everything felt perfect. You still wonder if you could have done more, said something different, been someone better. So why is it so damn hard for you to let go? Today, I'm going to show you how to finally break free from this emotional prison you've built around her memory. Because holding on to someone who's already let go isn't just painful, it's emotional suicide. And we're going to fix that right now. Welcome back to the channel. This is the Stoicism, and over the next few minutes, I'm going to break down the exact psychological trap that keeps you stuck on her, the secret shift that finally sets you free, and the one thing most men never do but desperately need to if they want their peace and power back. Are you ready? Let's dive deep. Here's the first truth that's going to hurt: you're not addicted to her. You're addicted to the feeling she gave you. This is where most men get completely trapped. They think they're still in love, that they can't move on because she was their person, their soulmate, their other half. But what you're actually missing isn't her, it's the emotional cocktail that she provided. Think about it. The dopamine hits from every kiss. The adrenaline rush every single time her name popped up on your screen. The oxytocin flood when she told you she loved you. The safety you felt when she was lying next to you, even if half the time you knew the connection was already fading. It's not her you miss, it's the high. You know that feeling when you're scrolling through her Instagram stories at 2 a.m., and your heart suddenly starts racing over the dumbest thing. Her holding a coffee cup. Smiling with some new guy. Wearing something that reveals just a little too much. Your body reacts like you're in actual danger because your nervous system has been programmed to think that she was your source of validation, your emotional drug dealer. You built an addiction to being needed, to being chosen, to being desired. And right now, her absence feels like withdrawal. That's why you can't sleep. That's why the silence feels deafening. That's why every song reminds you of her. Ever tried going cold turkey on a woman? It's harder than quitting cigarettes. Harder than breaking a porn addiction. That's how deep this psychological dependency goes. Your brain literally treated her like a drug. Every text, every touch, every "I love you" was a hit of dopamine that your system craved. And now that the supply is cut off, you're going through legitimate withdrawal symptoms, anxiety, obsessive thoughts, and a physical ache in your chest. But here's what you need to understand: if she was your only source of happiness, you were never actually in love. You were dependent. And there's a massive difference between love and dependency. Real love enhances your life. Dependency makes someone else responsible for your emotional state. Real love comes from abundance. Dependency comes from scarcity, the fear that you'll never find this feeling again. Here's the second psychological trap that's keeping you stuck: you're not mourning the real relationship. You're mourning a highlight reel. When we replay the past, our brains have this twisted way of editing out all the messy parts. All the disrespect. All the moments she pulled away. All the times she made you feel like you were asking for too much just by wanting consistency. If she really loved you the way you loved her, would you be watching this video right now? Would you be lying awake at night wondering what went wrong? I don't think so. Don't let nostalgia trick you into rewriting history. That fantasy version of her that you're clinging to. She doesn't exist anymore. Maybe she never existed at all. Let me get brutally honest with you. You're not stuck because she was so amazing. You're stuck because your brain has edited the past into a romantic movie where she was the perfect leading lady and you were just unlucky enough to lose her. You're replaying the good morning texts, the inside jokes, the passionate moments, the way she said your name when she was happy. But conveniently, you're not rewinding to the manipulation, the mixed signals, the cold silences, the way she made you feel like a burden when you needed her most. The way she'd go hours without responding to your messages but somehow always had time to post on social media. The way she'd cancel plans at the last minute but expect you to be available whenever she wanted attention. The way she'd pull away every time you tried to get closer, then act confused when you asked what was wrong. Here's the trap: we don't fall in love with people. We fall in love with the version of them that made us feel most alive. And when it ends, we cling to that version of the one who cuddled you in the morning, who said, "I've never felt like this before," who made promises when she was emotionally high but couldn't deliver when it actually mattered. You're painting a full picture with half the truth. If you only remember the best parts of someone who ultimately chose to leave, you're not healing, you're hallucinating. Just because there were moments of pleasure doesn't mean she was good for you. Don't let temporary highs blind you to long-term damage. If she really loved you, she would have stayed consistent. She wouldn't have needed constant convincing to choose you. You wouldn't have had to decode her mixed signals like you were trying to crack the Da Vinci Code. Here's where most men lose the plot entirely. You didn't just fall in love with her, you built your entire emotional stability around her. She became your peace, your calm, your distraction from whatever personal chaos you were dealing with. And that right there was the fatal error. You outsourced your sense of self to a woman who had no business being your emotional anchor. And now that she's gone, you're drifting because you never learned how to be your own source of inner peace. When a man makes a woman his emotional center, he loses his edge, his confidence, and eventually, her respect. She stopped being your partner and started being your emotional caretaker. And let me tell you something that no one wants to admit: no woman signs up to babysit a grown man's identity. The more you leaned on her to feel okay about yourself, the less attractive you became. Why? Because masculine energy thrives on internal control, direction, and stability. When that's gone, she senses it immediately, and it shifts the entire dynamic of the relationship. A woman might love you, but if she has to constantly stabilize your emotions, manage your insecurities, and carry the weight of your self-worth, she'll eventually resent you for it. Not because she's cold or heartless, but because that kind of pressure kills attraction and breeds resentment. You stopped being the calm in her storm and became the man who falls apart when the wind shifts. Here's what should have happened: she should have complemented your peace, not become it. She should have added to your life, not been your entire life. Because when your confidence is self-generated, you stop chasing her approval at every turn. You stop fearing her absence. You stop crumbling when things go wrong. You become the man she respects, the one who doesn't need her to feel whole but chooses her from a place of strength. Let's kill one of the biggest lies men tell themselves after a breakup: I just need one more conversation. I just want her to explain why. If I could just get closure, I'll be able to move on. No, you wouldn't. And nobody, I repeat, nobody owes you closure. You'd get that one last talk and it would open 10 more wounds. She might say, I still care about you, and confuse the hell out of you. She might give you some vague excuse like, I'm just not ready for this, and leave you stuck in limbo. Or worse, she might not respond at all, and you'll spiral even deeper into obsession. Here's the truth: closure isn't something she gives you. Closure is something you decide. Waiting for closure from someone who walked away without explanation is like standing in the rain hoping the storm will apologize to you. You're waiting for her to validate your pain, to admit she was wrong, to show some regret so it justifies how much you're hurting. But even if she does apologize, it won't bring you peace. Because what you're really craving isn't closure, it's a reason to keep holding on. You don't need her to explain why she stopped loving you. You don't need her to walk you through her emotional process. You don't need her blessing to move on with your life. What you need is to take your power back. Real closure looks like this: I deserve better than someone who could walk away like that. I may not understand everything that happened, but I don't need to. I can let go without needing her to feel bad about it. Some people won't give you closure because they benefit from your confusion. They like knowing you're still wondering, still hoping, still emotionally invested. Don't give them that power over your peace of mind. You end the story by closing the book yourself, not by rereading the last chapter hoping the ending will magically change. Here's something most people won't tell you, but I will: if you can obsess over a woman, you can build an empire. You've been using all that mental energy to replay the past, to stalk her social media, to fantasize about conversations that will never happen, to relive moments that are already dead and buried. But here's a truth you don't want to admit: if you can obsess over a woman, if you can memorize her every mood, her favorite songs, the way she tilts her head when she's thinking, then you possess something most men don't have. You have discipline. You have focus. You have emotional fire. You've just been pouring it all into the wrong container. She wasn't the goal, she was the distraction. And now that she's gone, you're finally free to build something that actually lasts. Take that obsession and aim it forward. If you can lose sleep thinking about her, you can lose sleep building a business, transforming your body, developing your mind, creating a life that commands respect from everyone around you. Your attention is the most powerful currency you have. Every second you spend it on someone who walked away from your life is a second stolen from your future self. Stop asking yourself if she's thinking about you. Start making sure she'll remember who you become. If she left you doubting your worth, let your transformation be the answer. Not to prove her wrong, but to remind yourself that you were never broken, only redirected. What if you made yourself the project? What if you built something so powerful that even the memory of her couldn't distract you anymore? What if every time you felt that ache in your chest, you channeled it into action? 20 push-ups, 200 words written, a new skill learned, another step toward the life you're meant to create. Women respect builders. Men with vision, men with momentum, men who are moving towards something bigger than their past relationships. If she couldn't see your value before, let her watch you become the kind of man she can't even reach now. Your obsession was never the problem. It was your target. Here's what I want you to do starting today. Every time you feel that pull to check her social media, to replay a memory, to wonder what she's doing right now, I want you to redirect that energy immediately. Feel the urge to text her. Write in your journal instead. Document what you're really feeling beneath the surface. Want to drive by her house? Go to the gym and destroy a workout? Tempted to ask mutual friends about her? Call someone who actually adds value to your life. This isn't about suppressing your emotions, it's about redirecting them towards something that serves your growth instead of feeding your addiction to pain. Because here's what most men don't realize, the same intensity that makes you obsess over someone who's gone is the same intensity that can make you unstoppable in every other area of your life. The discipline it takes to stop checking her Instagram is the same discipline that builds businesses. The focus you waste replaying conversations is the same focus that creates mastery. The emotional fire that burns for her is the same fire that can forge an unbreakable version of yourself. The deepest work happens when you realize that losing her revealed something you didn't even know was broken, your relationship with yourself. If her leaving shattered your world, it means your world was too small to begin with. If her absence makes you feel worthless, it means you never learned how to generate your own worth. This isn't about becoming cold or closing your heart. It's about building a foundation so strong that love enhances your life instead of defining it. The man you're becoming doesn't need anyone's validation to know his worth. He doesn't need anyone's presence to feel peace. He doesn't need anyone's love to love himself. When you reach that place, and you will reach it, you'll look back on this pain as the catalyst that forced you to become who you were always meant to be. Letting go isn't weakness, it's the ultimate act of power. It's saying, I deserve someone who chooses me consistently, who doesn't make me beg for basic respect and affection. If she couldn't see your value, maybe she wasn't meant to hold it in the first place. Your story doesn't end with her walking away. That was just the plot twist that redirected you toward your real purpose. The men you're becoming will thank you for having the courage to let go. The life you're building will be worth every moment of this pain. The love you'll find starting with yourself will make this heartbreak look like a detour, not a destination. Stop shrinking yourself to fit into someone else's limited vision of who you should be. Stop begging for scraps of attention from someone who chose to leave the table. You are not too much. You are not broken. You are not unlovable. You are being redirected towards something better. If this message resonated with you and you're ready to transform this pain into unstoppable momentum, don't hesitate to subscribe and share this video with whoever may need it. It's not just theory. These are battle-tested strategies that have helped thousands of men go from stuck to unstoppable. Thanks for reading. I'll see you in the next video. Now go build your empire.